6 o'clock. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Julia, along with Julia and Matt here this morning. Love the warmer weather and sunshine yesterday.
I think it's the sunshine that really did it. We knew we were going to have a nice warm up, but I wasn't sure just how much sun we'd see. And that's what I'd like to see this weekend. But what's today that we have to get through first?
We got to get through probably another 6 or 7 hours of clouds.
Okay.
I think there'll be some sun breaks. You'll get a quick ray of sun and feel nice, and then it goes away again. Yeah. But this evening, I think for a lot of high school baseball and softball games, the sun's going to burst back out. It won't probably be out enough to really get us warm today, but I think it will this weekend.
The sun will come out tomorrow.
Yes, it will. Straight from Julia's mouth. Hey, all right, let's talk about what we're expecting here this morning. It is a chilly start out there across central Indiana. Northeast winds, we're talking about gusts out of about 20 miles per hour or so. So when you're looking at some of these temperatures, we're in the mid-30s in kind of north central Indiana, but it feels more like the upper 20s. It's cold for the Falcons this morning in Winchester, Jay County, where we're sitting at 36. And good morning for the Millers in Noblesville, 38. That's all we're doing this morning. You're going to want the light jacket this morning. And then I think this afternoon it will feel better as those north winds should eventually start to calm down a bit. Indianapolis, 39, but it feels like it's at freezing. It's only 42 for the Arties this morning in Martinsville. Then you head a little bit farther south, Seymour Owls, 42, and there at IU, we're sitting at 42 as well. So it's a cool start. We're also tracking these clouds. We've got kind of the night vision goggles on for satellite right now for infrared, and you're noticing some clear skies. Yeah, a couple pockets of clouds to the north, but clear skies there towards Michigan. It's just going to take a second to get here. So we've actually used the storm track. Same thing that Angela was using when we were tracking those tornadoes. We can do the same thing for the back edge of these clouds. Roughly estimating, we're really going to start to break up those clouds. Not completely, but really starting to. They're right around lunchtime. Look at Indianapolis. They're at 12:18, give or take a couple minutes. We're still a little bit far out. But the good news is that sunshine, I think, will be on the way. And then this weekend, even more sun is likely in your forecast. So that's some good news. Let's talk about traffic this morning as you're waking up, headed out the door. So far, no crashes, no accidents. We're looking pretty good out there this morning. I do want to let you know, Jalea and Julia will be talking throughout the morning on a couple more closures throughout the overnight hours tonight. A lot of road repairs will be taking place. It'll be dry tonight. It'll be cold, but the road crews can deal with the cold as they're going to be trying to continue to fix a lot of potholes that came from the harsh winter and then the flooding rains. Then we take you out to eastern Indiana. Good morning there towards Cambridge City and Hagerstown. If you take State Road 1 too far south, you head up in Spartan country. Connorsville will be hosting the Batesville Bulldogs for a big high school baseball game tonight. And then I'm going to take you to Carmel. Good morning, Greyhounds. We've got a big softball game. The Jasper Argyles are coming on to take our Carmel Greyhounds. Good luck to all the athletes tonight. I think the sun will be out by first pitch. Jalea?
Thank you, Matt. Well, it's a Plainfield now where the school board has voted to remove gender identity from its non-discrimination policy.
This is an update to a story we've been following earlier this week. Last night, the board heard from many in the community about the vote. Anna Chalker is in studio this morning with really some mixed reaction from both sides.
There really was, ladies, and we'll tell you that around 25 people, that includes parents, students, and other community members, spoke up at this meeting. Many saying this vote could make some not feel welcome at school anymore. So according to the non-discrimination and anti-harassment policy, the corporation does not discriminate on the basis of a protected class. That includes race, color, national origin, sex, gender identity, gender, age, religion, or disability. And under the vote last night, gender identity would be taken out of that policy. And the district tells us this is in response to recent state and federal executive orders, and they fear if they do not comply, it could disrupt school funding. And parents say at this meeting that this change does not reflect on the efforts in Plainfield to make everyone feel like they belong. And some students say this could add to the bullying they've already experienced.
Let's lift the federal funding. It's going to hurt 3,200 students. I think we need to think about that. It's about all of us.
I encourage you to make this change as proposed. Why put our school corporation at risk of losing any funding by not following the law?
Against this change, the district sent a statement to 13 News earlier this week stating they remain committed to protecting and ensuring a safe education environment for every single student. So at 6:30, we'll hear more from people on both sides of this issue, especially those students that say, hey, let's not deal with this vote.
Yeah.
Let's just move on from that, but we'll have that at 6:30.
When, it feels like for these students who are affected, it's like going backwards. They'd already made some accomplishments, so, that's very difficult. Thanks, Anna.
Oh, this morning, a Ben Davis High School coach is facing allegations of misconduct. MSD of Wayne Township Superintendent tells 13 News that the coach is on leave. They also say that the school leaders reported the situation to the Indiana Department of Child Services. Now, they did not name the coach or even elaborate on what the allegations are, but in a statement to 13 News, the superintendent says that students are encouraged to notify administrators with any information or concerns they have.
At this point, we're glad that it's over. It's been a very long 3 years, and we're hoping that both of our families can move forward.
Relief and still some disappointment you're hearing there after a woman is sentenced for 2 deadly crashes. Kelly Anderson received the maximum 3-year prison sentence yesterday under a plea deal, but she only has 84 days left to serve after credit for time on home detention since her arrest. Anderson suffers from a seizure disorder. In May of 2022, she passed out while driving, crashing onto the sidewalk and killing Dr. Brian Dillman, who was walking his dog. Just 3 weeks later, she crashed into several cars at a stoplight and then killed Kiana Burns. Some of the victims' loved ones say the punishment just doesn't seem like enough.
Miss Anderson has no regard for human life. If she did, Kiana and my father wouldn't be gone. If she did, we still wouldn't be here begging for justice.
I forgive her. She didn't set out that day to kill my daughter. She didn't mean to do it. She made a bad decision, and she got caught up for it.
In court, Anderson said suffering a medical emergency does not excuse or minimize her responsibility. She will be on 3 years of supervised probation when she's released. Her driver's license is also suspended for at least 10 years. Well, in just a few hours, a man will be in court in connection to a shooting that happened on the east side. Brandon Rivers faces multiple battery charges for shooting a woman Monday at a home on Bertle Parkway near 24th and Fall Creek. IMPD says 3 children were inside the home at the time. Police later arrested Rivers on Wednesday and say he had a stolen gun with him at the time of his arrest.
This morning, a bicyclist is dead after a crash on the near southeast side of Indianapolis. Police share with us this was yesterday around 5 o'clock near Troy Avenue and Tyndall Street. They say the bicyclist and someone riding on a motorcycle collided at that intersection. The motorcyclist was said to be awake and breathing at last check. We'll get an update on their condition and share that with you when we're able to, and also as police learn what may have led to that crash. The city of Muncie is no longer paying a firefighter at the center of a cheating investigation.
Now, the Muncie Fire Merit Commission just voted to stop paying Captain Troy Delaney while he awaits a formal hearing before the commission. Delaney is accused of providing test questions and answers to other firefighters and EMTs before they took their certification exams. For the past 2 years, Delaney's been on paid leave while awaiting the outcome of the state investigation. A few weeks ago, that investigation ended when state regulators voted to revoke Delaney's firefighting credentials, determining his actions violated state rules. 13 Investigates has confirmed Muncie taxpayers paid Delaney $138,000 while he's been on leave the past 2 years, and it cost another $151,000 in overtime for other firefighters to step up and cover his shifts.
Now, the longtime firefighter declined our request for comment, but he has insisted that he did not help anyone cheat. A date has not yet been set for Delaney's formal hearing before the Muncie Fire Merit Commission, though. This morning, we're taking a closer look at the future of IMPD, and they want to hear from you. The department has announced a new survey to help them establish a 5-year plan. Chief Chris Bailey brought in an Indianapolis-based company called Taylor Advising to put together this final vision after they get feedback. The goal is to give IMPD goals to meet that address the needs of both community members and these officers.
And I've heard you say you feel unheard by your leadership, by the public, by elected officials. This is your opportunity to speak up and have a voice. Your experience, ideas, and frontline perspective are essential to shaping the department's future.
Well, that survey is open now for you to participate. We have a link at WTHR.com. And in June, that advising group will collect all the responses and have a draft of that first plan expected in November.
Well, this morning we're getting more insight on the state budget for the next 2 years.
Indiana Senate Republicans are outlining their plan, which includes nearly $47 billion, mostly in education and Medicaid spending. Plus, the Senate holds back more money than the House. The House already passed its version of the budget.
Next week, we will get a first look at the April revenue forecast. That's where legislators actually find out how much money is expected to come in, and that could impact the proposed budget.
House Republicans are reaching an agreement on property tax reform, and this comes after a lot of debate over Senate Bill 1. So here's what we know about this latest version. The bill would significantly expand the maximum homestead tax deduction and cap how much property tax bills could go up in the future. The bill would also provide a homestead tax credit worth up to $3,000 or $300, I should say, on property taxes in 2025. That bill now has to head back to the Senate for a final vote.